Hey everyone, and welcome. For pretty much all of modern history, we've thought of logic as being super simple, right? It's all about one thing. Is a statement true or is it false? But what if there's more to it? What if the real meaning of a sentence goes way deeper than just a simple yes or no? Well, today, we're going to explore a pretty radical idea that might just reshape how you think about logic itself.
So let me ask you this. Take these two sentences. 1 plus 1 equals 2. And the earth is round. Both are true, right? No debate there. So in a classical sense, they're equivalent. They have the same value. But do they really mean the same thing? I mean, one is a basic truth of math. The other is a fact about our planet. They feel different, don't they? And that feeling, that distinction, is exactly what we're going to dive into. It's the key to a fascinating revolution in logic. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the traditional way of thinking, the Phrygian foundation. Then we'll see how some thinkers just radically rejected it. We'll introduce the cool new tool they created, check out the incredible power it unlocks, and finally, we'll see what it really means to move beyond just truth.
Okay, so before we can appreciate the new way, we have to understand the old world. And this world was basically built by the brilliant logician Gottlob Frege. It's a world that runs on a very simple, binary system. This right here is the absolute core of it, Frege's principle. The idea is that the ultimate meaning, what he called the semantic value, of any statement is just its truth value. So a sentence is basically just a fancy name for the concept of true, or a fancy name for the concept of false. That's it. Nothing more to it. And here's what that looks like in practice. Take a sentence like, snow is white. It's describing something specific about the world, right? The color of snow. But according to Frege, all of that rich, specific meaning just gets, well, it gets reduced, flattened down to a single value, true. And the same thing would happen to 1 plus 1 equals 2, and the earth is round. They all just become different labels for the exact same thing, true.
But this is where the story gets interesting. Some logicians, guys like Roman Susko and Andrei Grigorchik, they looked at this whole reduction thing and thought, wait a minute, aren't we losing something really important here? And that feeling led to a complete rejection of Frege's idea and a move beyond this simple binary world. This is the one question that just changes everything. What if the real meaning of a sentence isn't just whether it's true, but the actual situation it's describing? What if snow is white doesn't just point to true, but to the literal state of affairs of snow being white out in the world? You see, that idea opens up a whole new universe. So to even start exploring this richer world of meaning, they needed a new kind of tool, something that could let them talk about this deeper kind of sameness. And what they came up with was a brand new logical connective.
So let's meet the star of the show. It's called the identity connective, or non-Frigean equivalence. This little symbol doesn't just ask, hey, are these two sentences both true? Nope, it asks a much, much deeper question. It asks, are these two sentences describing the very same situation? Are they pointing to the exact same thing in the world?
Now, the rules for this thing, the axioms, are actually super intuitive. First, any sentence means what it means. A is identical to A. Makes sense. Second, if two sentences, A and B, describe the exact same situation, you can swap them out for each other inside a bigger sentence. And third, and this is super important, if two sentences mean the same thing, then they also have to have the same truth value. So the connection to truth is still there. It just isn't the only thing that matters anymore. And this is the absolute kicker. This is what makes the whole system non-Fregean. The reverse is not true. Just because two sentences are both true, it does not mean they describe the same situation. So 1 plus 1 equals 2 is true, and the earth is round is true, but in this system, they are not identical. They don't mean the same thing. That one-way street is the key that unlocks this whole new world. So you might be thinking, okay, this is kind of cool, but what's the big deal? What's the payoff? Well, the payoff is just incredible expressive power. This whole new way of looking at things gives us a single, unified framework to understand not just one kind of logic, but a whole bunch of them.
Seriously, think of non-Frigean logic as a kind of Rosetta Stone. It's like a master key. It creates this one common ground where we can bring in all these different logical systems, many of which were built for totally different reasons, and we can finally compare them apple to apples. We can see how they're similar, how they're different, all in a brand new light.
And I mean, just look at the scope of this. We're talking about a grand unification of some of the biggest names in logic. You've got modal logic, which is all about possibility and necessity, intuitionistic logic, which is a huge deal in modern math. And you even get these wilder systems, like three-valued logics that handle ambiguity, or paraconsistent logics that can deal with contradictions. All of a sudden, they can all be understood inside this one powerful framework. It's amazing.
And this framework is so powerful, it lets us ask some really deep philosophical questions. For example, let's think about math. What actually makes a mathematical statement true? Is it what we might call a hard fact, some kind of objective, real thing out there in the universe that the statement lines up with? Or is it more of a soft fact, something that exists just as a concept, a mental representation inside a theory?
Okay, now this is where my mind was kind of blown. When researchers applied these non-Fregean tools to analyze mathematical theories, they found something really provocative. It looks like these theories might not need hard facts at all. You can build the whole thing, the entire semantics, using only soft facts, these mental ideas. And that is a huge challenge to the classic idea that math describes some perfect objective external reality.
So let's bring it all home. Where does all this take us? Well, it takes us to a totally new way of thinking about meaning itself. It's a world where we're not just obsessed with truth, but with the rich, detailed situations that our sentences actually talk about. I just love this quote because it really captures the vibe perfectly. It's an invitation. It's saying, hey, let's move away from this flat, black and white world of just true or false, and let's step into this vibrant, 3D world full of rich, complex situations.
So, if you're going to remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. The non-Frigean revolution gives our logic more precision. It lets us reason about something our intuition already knows, that how and why something is true really matters. It allows us to reason about the subject matter itself, the very situations our sentences are about.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. For so long, we've thought of logic as being the science of truth. But if we follow this non-Frigean path, if we accept that logic can be about meaning and situations and context, what else could it be about? What other hidden dimensions of reason are we just beginning to discover? Thanks so much for joining me today.